Hey guys, what's up? Minimum Sherman today. Tara, pag-usapan natin itong nakakaaliw na sinabi sa pagbabasa ni Elijah San Fernando na siya ay humarap sa TRICOM. So dito, talagang very consistent siya sa kanyang mga panawagan online. By the way, si Elijah or si Eli na nakikita natin sa TikTok with 1.1 million followers. Sino nga ba to si Elijah? No. One, tumatakbo po siya ngayon as party list nominee, no? Sa hindi ko alam, nakalimutan ko na yung inaano niya, but basically it's about na manggagawa. Kung titingnan nga natin dito ang kanyang TikTok. Okay? So meron na po siyang 1.1 million followers with 17.5 likes. So dito makikita niyo kung gaano karami ang kanyang mga views. Okay. Itong si Elijah, masipag tong ayan. As you can see here. Okay. Talagang walang takot to sa sa pagsasalita At masama rin siya Sabi nga nila, Ma'am Joey, this person is very dilaw. No. But then again, there are things that na sinasabi niya na ako personally, sinusuportahan ko. Okay? Sorry about that. Excuse me. Ngayon, punta tayo dito sa kanyang sinabi. No? Sa kanyang naging statement sa loob ng TRICOM nung binigay siya ng opportunity na makapagsalita. Kasi dito, sobrang na-real talk niya yung mga taga-TRICOM. Hindi lang na-real talk, nasupalpal pa niya. At dahil sa sinabi niya, walang naisagot yung mga taga-TRICOM.
Politicians trying to cash in at the ignorance of our fellow Filipinos and at the expense of our democracy. This is what this committee should look into, and not ordinary people who are only exercising their free speech. However unpalatable, uncouth, or irreverent their speech might be. As representatives of the people, this Congress should be the bulwark of our much-cherished freedoms as foundations of our democracy. To end, Mr. Chair, I subscribe to the quote often ascribed to Voltaire, that I may disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Here, may I just say a few words, Mr. Chair, because I guess all of us are victims of misinformation. Lahat po tayo nagiging topic ng mga vlogs
Pati kapwa vloggers.
Yes, pati kapwa vloggers. I'd just like to direct my question perhaps to, and maybe...
Ako personally, I am very interested. No, I'm very interested kung sino nagbigay ng pangalan namin dyan sa TRICOM. At pinaparatangan kaming mga narco-vloggers at saka Pogo paid vloggers or Chinese-funded vloggers. Alam mo kung bakit? Kasi giving our name dyan sa TRICOM will not only constitute cyber libel, but definitely we're gonna chase those people. Okay? Babalikan natin yung sinabi ni tawag dito, ni Ace Barbers. Hindi niya kami kilala. Pero kung paratangan niya kami as if he knows us to our core. Diba?
To, Commodore Tariela, if I may, Mr. Chair. I was listening to the message that is somehow to convey to the public is that wala kang kaalam-alam. Na Congressman Zia, walang alam, ni-lecturan, ni Miss...
and reviewing and crafting a code of conduct. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Kasi sinabi niya, gusto ko dumilit.
Thank you, ma'am. Next we go to...
Doon tayo kay Elijah.
Mr. Del Rosario.
Good morning po, Chair.
Dito tayo.
Yes, please.
Dito tayo kay Elijah.
I want to share my culture.
I am Elijah San Fernando, former student regent of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, the current National Vice President of the National Federation of Labor, one of the oldest and at one point in history, one of the largest federation in the Philippines. Also, Mr. Chair, I am the first nominee of Kamanggagawa Party List. I do not have anything against vloggers, Mr. Chair, although I do not consider myself one. I consider myself as an advocate who got lucky to be bestowed a platform. Let me preface this by categorically stating that I do not earn from these platforms, nor am I paid by anyone. Not by any politician, POGO operators, foreign entities and personalities, nor criminal cartels. I am only beholden to the working people to whom I owe allegiance and membership to. I thank the members of this august body for inviting me to this important committee hearing to craft an equally important piece of legislation. I believe that our democracy is indeed under threat, but the threat does not come from ordinary people like us, but from bad faith actors lurking in the shadows, trying to manipulate the elections and social engineer the Filipino people. Let me categorically state also that I know that free speech is not absolute. No less than the highest court of our land has repeatedly said that. But the Supreme Court is also emphatic in defending the primacy and preference of free speech over other substantive economic freedoms and other liberties. For it is only when the people have unbridled access to information and the press that they will be capable of rendering enlightened judgments. In the oft-quoted words of Thomas Jefferson, we cannot both be free and ignorant. The Philippines, Mr. Chair, already has one of the most restrictive shackles to free speech: criminal libel and slander. I should know, because I was also a victim of this while amplifying the voices of the workers in Manila City against an oppressive and illogical local ordinance. As early as 2012, the United Nations Human Rights Committee, commenting on a case of a journalist convicted of criminal libel, Alexander Adonis, has stated that imprisonment is never an appropriate penalty for libel, and that criminal libel in the Philippines is excessive. Also, as a signatory to the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights, the Philippines needs to honor its commitment to freedom of expression and free speech by decriminalizing libel. In 2023, no less than the Speaker Martin Romualdez has signified his intention to the media to decriminalize libel as a way to declog our jails. It is therefore clear, Mr. Chair, that the threat to democracy comes not from more speech, but the dangers attached to exercising it. Ordinary people, Mr. Chair, are scared to speak up because of criminal libel. That is why they create parasocial relationships with social media personalities who apparently exemplify and are able to exercise this freedom. Vloggers are a way for the muffled masses to express what they cannot publicly express, which creates a cathartic release for their frustrations and disappointments to our social order. This would somewhat explain, Mr. Chair, the rise of the Dutertes and the Tulfos, because they are polyglots who speak the language of the masses. They have harnessed the frustrations of the ordinary folk and have become beacons for people demanding swift justice, however twisted their brand of justice might be to other people. This does not in any way mean to say that everything in social media is good. Troll farms, fake news, paid and faceless bloggers and vloggers, and artificial intelligence, deepfakes, are just tip of the iceberg. A deeper dive at what experts term as inauthentic behaviors are bad actors and political opportunists. And yes, Mr. Chair, politicians trying to cash in at the ignorance of our fellow Filipinos and at the expense of our democracy. This is what this committee should look into, and not ordinary people who are only exercising their free speech. However unpalatable, uncouth, or irreverent their speech might be. As representatives of the people, this Congress should be the bulwark of our much cherished freedoms as foundations of our democracy. To end, Mr. Chair, I subscribe to the quote often ascribed to Voltaire, that I may disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me time to speak.
Thank you. Can we hear from Scamwatch, Madam Josel de Guzman or Mr. Josel de Guzman?
So basically, when I was watching this, no, I don't hear anything that they've, sabihin na lang natin, nag-disagree sila sa sinabi dyan ni Eli San Fernando. I may disagree in some of his statements sa kanyang TikTok account, but in most cases, I agree with him. Okay? Obviously, kuhang-kuha niya ang mga tao. Bakit? Having 1.1 million followers, masipag na masipag siya mag-upload dito. Nakikita niyo naman. And una niya nakuha yung aking atensyon nung pinaglalaban niya yung tungkol sa pantay-pantay na dapat na sahod ng tao. I support that. No, isa yan sa mga gusto kong mangyari. Kaya nga sabi ko kailangan meron tayong mga party list na makapasok na makakatulong sa atin. Like halimbawa, si Epanaw ni Dr. Loring Badoy. Definitely, ipaglalaban niya, maging insurgency free ang Pilipinas. Isa na dyan si P3PWD, si Attorney Rowena Guanzon, kasi very focused ang kanyang sa mga PWD, mga senior citizen at yung mga pamilya nun. Andyan din ang Duterte Youth. Okay? Andyan din yung kay Attorney Greco Bellica, no? Yung Bisaya Gyud. And I think meron pang isa PPP. Ito yung mga dapat natin maipasok. Bakit? Kasi ito, solid rock ang kanilang mga pinaglalaban at sinusunod. Ngayon, kung babalik tayo dito kay Elijah, well, I mean, gusto ko rin na makapasok siya. Makapasok ang party list niya as the first nominee. Kitang-kita mo naman na talagang pinaglalaban niya yung. And for him to have a very, ganito lang kakonti yung videos niya, but he was able to garner 1.1 million followers. Hindi ka na magugulat doon. Tingnan mo. Tingnan mo yung may pinaglalaban siya. Yan ko naman yung pinaglalaban niya. Alam ko kinasuhan to ni ni Mayor ng Manila, no, because of the ordinance. Diyan pa lang, no, talagang tinumbok ni Elijah dito sa naging statement niya. Yung gusto niya sabihin. Diba? Because if he's not going to agree with free speech, yun lang yan yun lang yung puhunan niya Diba? Yun ang puhunan niya At dahil dyan sa sinabi niya, walang narebat. Yan, tama yung sinabi rito na walang narebat yung mga taga-TRICOM. Kasi on point lahat ng sinabi niya. Kahit Tagalogin niya yan. Pag pinanood mo si Eli, mapagmura din yan Ba't hindi nila ma-corner? Katabi niya pa si Sec Bello. Diba? See the point? Kung bakit may patama. So yung sa speech lang yan, may tinamaan dyan. Naalala ko nga sa isang post ni Ma'am Zoe sa sarili niya sa sarili niyang wall. Bakit itong second na hearing hindi nila nagawa na pag-usapan yung Pogo at saka Narco na paulit-ulit na sinasabi ni Barbers. Dapat inopen niya yan Kasi yun nga yung nasa privilege speech niya Eto mga kasama natin, mga netizen, matutulis din ng pandinig eh. So lahat ng interview ni Barbers at saka yung inaakto nila dyan sa TRICO, talagang pinapakinggan nila. Kasi ang kailangan matumbok dyan, bakit maraming Duterte supporters ang inimbita? Tapos tinatawag pa kaming anti-government ni Barbers. Hindi ba naisip ni Barbers na maraming tumitira din kay tawag dito, kay VP Sara? Yung ba mga yun hindi anti-government? Si Bonge, tinatawag lang bangag. Si VP Sara, tinatawag na Inday Lustay. Tomboy. May kabet na basketball player. At kung ano-ano pa. They've called her the worst more than Bongbong Marcos. Diba? Hindi mapatunayan. Now, ang tanong natin, bakit si Bongbong Marcos ayaw magpa-drug test? Dati, unang-una pa siyang nagpa-drug test, di ba? Oh, bakit ngayon, simpleng pa-hair follicle test lang, hindi niya magawa? Tama naman sinasabi na marami. Pa-hair follicle test ka, pag negative ka, then mananahimik ang lahat ng tao. Wala na silang ilaban sa'yo. Pero bakit nga hindi niya magawa yun? Wala raw kinalaman sa public trust. Tangina, nandun yung public trust. Tingnan mo naman kung paano siya magsalita. Tingnan mo naman kung paano siya magdesisyon. If you're mentally unstable, then that is a very big problem. Kasi you're making decision on behalf of the entire country. Yun na hindi naiintindihan ng mga tolonges niyang supporter na Talyanista. One of the funniest decision na ginawa niya. Ibabalik niya raw sa Amerika yung mga missiles na yon kung titigil daw ang China. Tangina, paano mo gagawin yun? Hindi nga ikaw may-ari ng mga missiles na yun. Parang sabihin sa'yo ng Amerika, I don't wanna do that. I'm not going to do that. At the expense of making an exchange. Diba? Siya na rin na nagsasabi. One of his, sa debate niya, paano ko ibibigay sa inyo isang bagay na wala, hindi ko pag-aari? Na or wala ako, wala sa akin. So bakit sinasabi ngayon ni Bangag, ibibigay, ililet go niyo yung missiles, basta ito lang yung deal. Bakit mo i-deal yung missiles na hindi naman pag-aari ng Pilipinas? Diba? That's how unstable he is mentally. Pagpapakilala niya kay Manny Pacquiao na taga Bukidnon. Kailan naging taga Bukidnon si Manny Pacquiao? Oh. Sinabi niya na si Erwin Tulfo taga Davao. Doon pa nga lang sa papel na admission ni Erwin Tulfo, siya amo ay pinanganak sa Leyte. No? That's how unstable he is. As simple as that. Diba? So, naintindihan nyo na bakit nag-i-entail ng public trust yung pag-aano sa kanya na siya ay he's being accused of being a drug user. Para makalma ang taong bayan. Kailangan natin masigurado na may nasa katinoan siya. Diba? Hindi naman dinideny ng kamag-anakan niya. Hindi naman dinideny ni Senator Amy. Diba dapat dinideny na ni Senator Amy na hindi totoong siya ay drug user? Wala naman, tahimik naman si Senator Amy. Siya kapatid eh. She knows better. Diba? Anyway guys, itong usapin ng TRICO. No? Gaya nga ng una ko nang nasabi. Meron vested interest dito ang ibang kongresista. Hindi ko po lalahatin. Lalo-lalo na tong si Ace Barbers. Hindi siya ang chairman ng committee na yan, kundi si Dan Fernandez. So sabi nila, kaya daw nagkakaganyan si Ace Barbers because he was accused of being a drug lord based dun sa report na lumabas dyan sa Surigao. Ngayon, yung pinag-iinitan ni Barbers, yung mga content creators, na sumusuporta sa mga Duterte, which is kami. Kaya nagulat ako. Paano mo ako na-link sa narco tsaka sa Pogo? Una-una, I don't even talk about Pogo. I don't even defend Pogo. I never talk about the issues of West Philippine Sea. Kaya na sinabi ko, there are people who are more, who are more knowledgeable when it comes to that, like SAS. She can talk about geopolitics. The issue of the West Philippine Sea is about geopolitics. Parang ang dami ko nung inaaral at marami na akong binabasa to entertain myself and deal with the issues of the West Philippine Sea. When there are people who already know, diba? Who already invested more of their time and effort to discuss the West Philippine Sea. So I leave it to those authority. Diba? May nakita ba kayo na pinag-usapan kong West Philippine Sea dito? If there's this one instance, it was only yung game between the Philippines and China. Tapos nagagano ng mga senador. Yung issue ng West Philippine Sea, leave it to the government. Huwag natin idama yung mga pribadong tao. Such as yung mga player ng China at that time. It is out of respect. Dahil iniisip ko rin na meron tayong mga kababayan na naka-base sa China long before pa nagkaroon ng gulo. Do we want them to be treated the same way kung paano natin tinatrato yung mga Chinese pag nandito sila? Apart from that, we have Chinese-Filipino community. Diba? Kumbaga, i-level natin. Kung ang issue na to ay about geopolitics lang, doon lang tayo. Huwag na tayong bumaba pa sa mga pribadong tao. Hindi rin naman nila kasalanan na sila ay naging Chinese. Not because yun yung ginagawa ng gobyerno nila, all of them are supporting. Diba? Kumbaga, ang nangyayari kasi pinipersonal natin yung mga bisita natin i-check. Pinipersonal natin yung mga Chinoy dito. Huwag naman natin sanang gawin yun. I support the government to whatever fight they're doing dyan sa WPS. I'm not vocal. But I do support that. Yun lang. For me to discuss the West Philippine Sea, masyadong maraming usapin ang kailangan nating pag-usapan. Maraming kailangan mong basahin to understand it better before ka nagsasalita sa tao. Because at the end of the day, you become the reference. Kung i-educate mo yung tao, we have to educate the people in the right way. Hindi yung meron lang tayong nasasabi. Anyway guys, again, maraming salamat sa panonood. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, at i-comment nyo na rin. Yun sa mga party list na nabanggit ko. Please support them. P3PWD, EPANAW, especially EPANAW, Bisaya, GUD, Duterte party list. There's another one, nag-promise ako I'll do the list, but surely, I will invest time para gawin yan. I'll see you in the next video, guys.